Okay, Carrie, you're good to go.
You muted Carrie.
Yeah, yeah, Carrie, we included you. Sorry about that. When I muted everybody, it included Carrie. So, Carrie, can you unmute yourself? Does he look like he's talking? Oh, boy.
From time to time he's talking, but
Yeah, I think he's trying to unmute himself, but he can't find it, or it's not cooperating for some reason.
It wouldn't show up because of where I had my boxes pushed so I could see my
Oh, yeah.
screen.
That's
the
right.
issue. Trying to
Okay.
get everything coordinated here again.
Okay.
There we go. All right, we're close enough.
Okay.
Let's start all over again. I'm PDG Carey. I was a secretary for many years. I've taken every secretary's course I can find from Lions University and Lions Learning Center. And when I see them on other websites or other Facebook pages, I just got one from District T that they had a secretary's class that they ran during their virtual convention. So she sent me that so I could look at it. And I've taught this many times, but there again, it does not necessarily mean I'm right. If you don't agree, that's fine. But I can imagine some of you are thinking that you've been doing this for years. You've seen all this before. He's not teaching me anything I don't already know. And that could be true, but there are people here that have never been a secretary before, never used my LCI, never used my line. So we're going to delve into those somewhat and get you the basics. That's what we're going to cover, the basics, enough to get you started that you know where things are. And for some of you, it could be a refresher course, but I'm going to ask you to try to stay with me till the very end. Because at the end of the course, something new, a new feature came on my LCI website, came on, I think it was on Monday, and I got it on Tuesday and added it to the end of this course. So it'll be interesting and it will be helpful to you when I show you the particulars of that. That's my contact information. If you have a question, if you have a comment, please don't hesitate to email me or give me a call. I'll never help you. If I don't have the answers, by golly, I'll find somebody that does, even if I have to go up to the state level or international level to get you the correct answer. Tonight, we're going to cover the secretary's responsibilities, your meeting duty, your duties during the meeting, taking the meeting minutes, the types of memberships. There's not just one membership in Lions. What you do with your files, my LCI, which we just talked about, reporting membership, service reporting on my line, the administrator's role, and we'll touch just a little bit on the roster. Here are some of the resources that I've used and highly recommend. Lions Learning Center has several courses on there pertaining to the secretary's position. On the website, lionsclubs.org, there is a club secretary, what they call ebook. It's basically just a book on being secretary, but they don't print it out. It's just on the website. So you would just go to lionsclub.org and search for Club Secretary ebook, and it'll pop right up. And you can feel free to print it out if you'd like to. There's also Lions University. That's at lionsuniversity.org. There is no charge to get on there. You just register and you can take up to, I think it's 54 different courses on there for free. Of course, they're going to encourage you to go to the USA Canada Forum, but that is not necessary to take any of these courses. And there's an excellent secretaries course on there. And believe it or not, YouTube. Get on YouTube, Lions Club Secretaries, do a search, and you will find many of them on there. Because the ones that districts or clubs put together, just like we're doing right now, ours will end up on YouTube. So somebody across the country may be watching this at some point. And you can watch and see how other districts, other multiple districts, do the secretary's role. And this is the club secretary ebook. There I do have the link for it on there. I'll let it on for a moment. If you want to write that down, it's an excellent book to have at your fingertips. That if you have some sort of question or wondering how you do it. But that's lionsclubs.org, /EN/resources. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Okay, everybody ready? Have it? All right. So it says you're the club business manager and a member of the board of directors. And here, as secretary, are your primary responsibilities. And we're going to go into a little more detail on these as we go along here. You're going to help to organize club and board meetings. You're going to, of course, work with the president to do this. We hope you will attend all the club and board meetings. And if you cannot, find or assign someone to help you with it. Could be the assistant secretary, could be the administrator, or just someone who is good at administrative tasks to fill in with you while you're not there. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about preparing the agendas. You're going to keep club records and receive club correspondence. Complete and file all club reports. And engage as an active member of the district governor's advisory committee of your particular zone in District 4C. What I'm showing you here about the next 8 slides, these are right from Lions University. There was no reason for me to type them out when they're so laid out so well right here. So you're basically the liaison, the person in the middle between the club, the district, and LCI. So information is basically going to flow from Lions Club International, the District 14C, down to your club through you. You are the communications central for your club. Of course, you're going to file all official reports, keep a monthly membership report. And how important is that today? There was a time where we had great pride in 100% attendance. In this age of Zoom and COVID, I just can't picture us doing that. But you're very welcome. If you want to keep the monthly membership report, which you can use to file your membership report on MyLCI, which we will get into shortly. You're going to keep your monthly service activities report and your monthly meeting reports, or your club meeting reports. Do your best to keep your members informed. And as we said, the last slide, you are a member of the district governor's advisory committee of the zone. That is yourself and your club president. So for an example, if you're zone chairperson, they usually have zone meetings 4 times a year. There again, to convey information, communication with you and your club. We ask that yourself and your club president attend these meetings. They can be very useful. Ask you to attend all club and BOD meetings. And there again, help the club president compile all agendas. That is, I don't want to say a touchy subject, but that is some clubs, the secretary does it all the time. There's other clubs, the president does it. It's up to you and your president whether you want, if that person is good at that sort of thing, or if they're not. You can work together. I know when I did it I was secretary for 4 years. 2 of those years I did the agenda because the president just had absolutely no desire to do that. The other 2 years, they had it all down pat. They didn't need any help. So it's just going to depend on your club, how you are with your president, whether they want to do it or not. Unfortunately, if the president doesn't want to, I think it's going to fall in the secretary's lap.
Carrie, this is Dennis. I just wanted to make a comment there that at last week's president's seminar, if your club president was on that that seminar, I encouraged them that was a primary responsibility of theirs also, that they should work with the secretary, but they should be involved with the agenda, and even gave them some formats to use for the agenda.
Well, I don't know, but I can pretty much be sure he wasn't there. Personally, I'd rather see somebody that's going to know how to do it and do a good job. Whoever it is, have them do it. So you're going to record the meeting minutes. You're going to receive most of the club correspondence. Sometimes the treasurer gets it. Sometimes the president gets the correspondence. But we want you to react to it quickly and in a professional manner. We're going to talk about that a little sooner too. Went too far there. Complete and file all reports to LCI, and to update that, LCI and MyLion. That's been, since this was done, MyLion has been added on. I'm not so sure if you want to work with the club treasurer to make sure the IRS form, the e-card or the 990 is taken care of. I never was involved in that. And then if you're finishing your term as secretary and not going to repeat another year, make sure all your records are transferred to whoever is taking on your role. Back to attend zone meetings with the club president, work with the treasurer, submit new member information to LCI. We're gonna walk through that also. You want to give information to the club webmaster if your club has a web page so that they can update it regularly. Order club supplies, awards, emails, whatever you need to online. And just remember, today is the 13th. By Saturday, this Saturday, the 15th, your club officers for next year are due on MyLCI. You're going to want to provide advance notice of meetings. I mean, when I started Lions, I'm sure there are some of you on there, we did not have emails. I'm sorry, I hit button and moved too far. There we go. We didn't use emails. So today it's much easier to send out a reminder or send your minutes by way of email, or if there's any sort of an event that's happening. that you want to share with the club. Any sort of communication, email, of course, is a great way to do it. You can put in there information, time, location. Of course, we mentioned the minutes, treasurer's report, the agendas. And here we are back to club president, create meeting agenda. They keep harping on that. And if you get correspondence that goes to you as the secretary or the administrator, if you receive it and it's basically you're the middle person, just make sure it gets forwarded or handed off to whoever it was meant for. You know, take attendance. If you have guests, be sure to get their name and their title, information such as maybe an email address or a phone number, because there may be times you need or want to get back to them. Of course, record your minutes of the meeting, collect the dues, pass them off to the treasurer. Some clubs have the money given directly to the treasurer, and either way is fine. Gather information from committee chairs. Keep your attendance and have new member kits available and also new member applications. You want to have those also in case one of those guests decided they want to join. Record the type of meeting, such as if it's a board of directors meeting, a meeting of some committee. First and last name of the person presiding. And you may think that's not important, but I know of a club right now that they have co-presidents and they both have the same name. The only difference is the initial in the center. And our district governor, Tom, when he was president of his club, his secretary was named Tom Jones. So they had a president and a secretary, both named Tom Jones. The only difference was the initial in the middle. You want to keep note of all motions, who made the motion, who seconded it. You don't want to record the debates and the discussions, only the motions. This is a permanent legal record. And if you are doing keeping your notes and your minutes on your computer, please be sure to back it up in some way. I kept them on my computer, but after every meeting, I printed them out and put them in a binder. Our club has binders dating back to 1933 with club minutes. So if we need to find something for the last 80 some years, it's there. You want to file the club charter, your club constitution and bylaws, any history you may have, of course, the minutes of the club and BOD meetings, IRS forms, membership reports, and your roster. We recommend you attend all club functions. And even if there's a nearby club has a project or event, you might want to go. District events such as cabinet meetings and training such as this. Perhaps multiple district events. Multiple district means Lions in the state of Pennsylvania. Simple as that. Pennsylvania is a multiple district. We have 17 districts, so we are a multiple, or MD. There's the regional Lions Leadership Institute. That's in March. That is training that covers 3 days. Very excellent training. It's up in Harrisburg. Then there's also the USA Canada Leadership Forum, which we talked about. There's the International Convention, which is virtual this year. For $50, you can view it. And I've heard of clubs that have paid just the $50 for one person, and then they all got together and are going to watch it on TV. And there's also participation in LCI webinars. They're having a lot of webinars and zone training now since the COVID, and then Lions University. We're going to talk a little bit about managing your correspondence. You should read and reply to correspondence promptly. I don't know how many times I sent an email and I'm wondering if the person got back, even received it. And maybe 3 weeks later, I get a reply. I know that's one of the hardest things I have to do working with LCIF is people replying to emails that I send out. And they're not difficult emails. They may just ask a question, but really trying to get any information, it makes it hard on everybody. So if you don't have an answer, such as if someone sends you an email asking a question and it's going to take some time for you to find the answer, just send reply back. I received your email. I'll have to look into it and get back to you as soon as I can. Simple as that. We talked about taking care of your files, keeping things. However you'd like to do it is fine, just so that you know where everything is. And there again, you should try to achieve and answer letters and emails quickly. If you see the two red letters there, the T and the Y, that's a reminder for me to suggest to you to send thank you notes. Thank you note or a short letter, not necessarily printed out on the computer. Some of the nicest notes I've ever received were handwritten because it really shows that you went out of your way to thank someone. Perhaps they donated something to the club, donated an item to be raffled off, or came to visit you and spoke at your meeting. But it means so much. And I used to do this, and then I read somewhere where it says, like, this is a great thing to do. Write it out, hand address the envelope, and put the stamp on, shows you really made the extra effort. There again, be on top of all correspondence. In some cases, if you lose something, it can cost your organization money and perhaps even members if you can't find something. Many years ago, we had a club secretary that was keeping track of who paid their dues for the year. They lost it. They lost the list. And it was very embarrassing to have to go back to the members and ask them on an honor system who paid and who hasn't. So you don't want anything like that to happen. Any questions? Any comments so far? Don't make it too easy on me here.
Carrie, just want to let you know, Gene Burke just came in. Gene, everybody's muted right now. So if you want to make any comments at any time, just unmute yourself and ask a question or comment, and then mute yourself afterwards.
Okay. Anna, you had a question? You're muted. There you go.
Organization was spelled wrong on the last slide.
Okay, we'll take that into account. Anyone else? Now we're going to talk about my LCI and my line. these are, you can do it on a tablet or phone. I'm going to show you things on a laptop here. I'm not going to go through it live. And the reason is sometimes my Comcast is really spotty. I know yesterday I tried all morning to get on and just couldn't get on. So we're gonna do it recorded here. So who can report on my LCI and my Lion? Well, for the club president can, the club secretary, the global service team coordinator, and the club administrator. Outside of the club, the district administrator, the global service team for the coordinator for the district, and the GST for the multiple district. They can all get into your My LCI and My Lions account to do reporting. So more than likely, it's just going to be your club secretary, perhaps club administrator. And this is the role of the club administrator. You're going to, as a club administrator, you basically would help whoever is filing reports. Sometimes they just have too much on their hands to do. So a club administrator can go in to the account, file a report, a service activity, add a member, look something up, just basically look something up, that some item or some information that you need to know. I'm the club administrator for my club. And here we are at My LCI. If you'd like, there is a training area where you click on support and then click on training area, and you can go through it, and it'll show you how to do different things without affecting your actual account. And that's the training area right there. Explains it all to you. This is how you're going to get into your Lion account. Now, some of you may not have an account yet. If you don't, you'll need to register. If you're a Lioness, you will register when your club bridges over to be a Lions club. Now, my Lion account number, it had always been my email address. And for some reason, about 6 weeks ago, they changed it. It was my cell phone number. Don't know why. It was just some sort of security measure. So if you're having trouble getting in, check to make sure that you may need to use your cell phone number. So you have your account ID password, and then go ahead and sign in. So we're going to click on My LCI. It's the first place we're going to go. And let's look at members. So you'll click on My Lions Club. You get a drop down, and then click on members. And there is part of the membership of my club. It goes through 2 pages for 31 members. Now we're going to talk about adding a member to your club. So you'll click on Add Member. And this is the screen you're going to see right here. So you'll fill in first name, last name, gender, date of birth, joining date, that sort of thing. So that's how you're going to add them. And the next would be if you're not going to have a new member, no member dropped out, and no member died, you can report no changes for the month. It makes it very simple. But if you have not had any changes, go ahead and report. That way, LCI and the district knows that you did do a report. And that's it, is no changes. And that's what you'll get right there. Now I'd like to talk about over on the far right side, the 4 boxes. If you need to change something for someone, such as an email address or a phone number, a home address, something like that, you would click on Edit Member and fill out the information you want to change. If you want to drop a member, you'll click on that. If someone died or deceased, that'll do the same thing. Create a family unit. If you have a member and their spouse join, or someone that's living in the same household, you can get lower dues by adding them in and create a family unit. And then there's also view history. If you click on that, it will tell you what clubs the member has been member of in the past, and also what offices they've held in the past. Any questions on My LCI? My LCI used to have, you used to do the service information on there also, but now that is strictly for membership.
Carrie,
All right.
what is the time frame in which you need to report a death to make it timely?
Lion Shirley, I would do it relatively quickly. The reason being is the dues.
Okay,
You report them deceased, I think they prorate it. But if not, you don't want them to go through another cycle of where you're billed for them again.
okay, and if you don't find out about it until the month following the date of death, is that an issue?
No,
Okay,
no, that should be all right.
okay, thank you.
Harry, this is the same My LCIF that a member can go into. They're seeing basically the same thing, except can't make the adjustments, correct? Or just
No,
no? Okay,
no, my LCI is strictly for presidents, secretaries. I don't
Okay.
know if you were on at that time. My
No.
line is where anyone can get onto.
okay, My line. Okay. Question on that My history. Can you make any changes in there?
You can't yourself. No, that strictly comes from LCI.
Okay,
It usually only goes back to about not quite 20 years,
okay,
because it's when they started using computers is when they started picking up history on the website.
okay.
So if you go back, into the 1990s, it's not going to have anything on there.
And not back in 1940.
Probably not.
Carrie, this is Dennis. Just for Jean's question there is a form you can complete to get the history changed though. And I've even had that for a member who was like over 50 years, but they had a break in service and the time before their break was not counted. And so that got added in after we submitted the request form so they could get the full number of years history.
Okay. Sounds good.
One of the things I've run into with LCI, they updated like a year or so ago, and they cleared out a lot of the original birth dates.
Yes, they
They
did.
put it in as 1/1 and the year.
January 1st. We're well aware, yeah.
So I'm in the process of trying to get our club to update forms so that I can get them current.
Yeah, I have no idea why they did that. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But I will tell you, they're going to do another major update here before too long. It's going to be I don't know what's going to happen. They just say my LCI is going to change.
Maybe it'll be easier.
We can only hope. Just hope we don't go through what we did with My Lion for a couple of years if you were secretary back then. All right. And we'll move forward. And here we are at My Line. And as somebody said, the app you love to hate, but it's much easier now than it had been in the past. So here we're back at which club officers can report activities. Now here they list the Leo clubs. Now very few of our clubs have Leo, but they can report also. But it's mainly going to be the president and the secretary, maybe the administrator. Club service chairperson, that's the same thing as the global service team coordinator. So yeah, you can delete and edit members and create activities and report club activities. So once you sign in, click on My Line. And there you can see what's called the service metrics for my club. When you sign in, your club will be on there. So let's plan a future activity. So we'll click on future activity. And now we need to select the activity type. So I'm going to say it is a service activity. It's not a fundraiser or a meeting or a donation. Click on service activity. And you'll see up there where it says number 1 calls. That's what I call the status bar. So there's basically only 5 steps here to plan this future activity. So I just chose hunger, and it even describes it on the right-hand side in the blue box of some information about how lions treat hunger. The type of project. Well, I selected the food collection for a food bank. Now you can do, of course, for this, meal prep and agriculture and hunger awareness. So this is what we're going to fill out. This is the details page. Walking through it kind of quick already. So because I'm part of the multiple district, I would have the choice of clicking multiple district, but I clicked on club for my club. And then there's a drop down box and I chose food collection there. Signature activity. And that's where if it's something you do reoccurring, such as maybe every month or every couple months, that would be saved as a signature activity. And you can just click on that and it'll add it in very easily. You can put in the place, the address of where this activity was held, the date and the time, which we have right there. So there's the place. It's in, I just put in, it's in New Freedom, and it's in the future, because that's what we're doing, is planning a future activity. So we have the start date of this Saturday from 8 to 5. If you go down to privacy settings, who can see this? Well, you want everyone to see it. And who can join in? Everyone can. You'll have to click the continue button to go on to the next screen, which is the invitations. If you would click on your club, on that little dot there, on the right of your club name, that will put in the email addresses so that everyone that's in there under the invites will receive an invitation to this event wherever it's held and the dates that it's held. And then number 5, which is preview. Just look it over, make sure everything is correct. And one question we get asked quite often is, I don't want to do, I want to completely remove it. Well, that's what the X is for in the upper right-hand corner where I have on there to delete. Click on the X, but we are not going to do that. We're going to click on the submit button. And there it is under the report past activity, so that it's unreported, but you're planning for it. Then after that date, you can just click on the report in the middle of the photograph and it'll automatically report it to My Lion. You can edit it. You can delete it from here also. Now we're going to report a past activity. If you see under unreported activities, if it is one of those, you can just click on it like we just said and report it. But if it's something new, or it's a past activity, report past activity, and then click the report plus button on the right-hand side. Anything in pink, you have to have information in that box. That's required to report it. A little star on the right-hand side. If you want to save it, you have to fill in the pink. If you have the asterisk or the star, that's required to be reported. So we'll go down to activity details. And I just said my wife put this in, which she didn't. But it was one day. I have it as May 1st. It was a fundraiser for childhood cancer and parent and family support services. Who can see this? Everyone, and then where it's held. You also see there's a photograph there. If you click on photo gallery, you can download a photograph from your computer right onto there. But that's definitely not necessary. So now you're ready. Go ahead and click report. And you have reported that activity into my line, and that will show up in your metrics. Maybe not right away, but before too long, it'll show up in your totals. Now let's discuss membership types. So there's a regular membership. And then of course there's one for families, one for college students. I don't know how much of that we get into, but a regular member, that's your standard. That's where you pay, it's $43 a year to MyLCI. And that is going to stay that way for at least 2 years yet. And this explains it a little more. Dennis can see that you get these slides. So if you don't get something written down or miss it, he'll be more than happy to send it to you. And he is recording it so you can get back to it later. This is who pays dues. Now these four that I have highlighted, the first one, the insights, can take you mainly into membership. We'll also have some Campaign 100 information. The Learn box is the Lions Learning Center for all the different courses that they offer. Of course, the shop is for buying pins, clothing, plaques, club supplies through LCI. And the one on the far right is the Connect, and that is still in test mode. And that is going to be very similar to Zoom. So you can have Zoom meetings at no charge. And LCI is putting that together. Here are some of the MyLine updates that they had within the last month. There used to be a link on there, report the old way. If you wanted to go back to where you reported, your MyLine report was 5 pages long. They did away with that now. They're going to give the president and secretary a 2 weeks grace period. So if you're the president and you've gone out of office June 30th, you're basically going to have until July 15th. You'll have access to MyLCI and MyLine. And then the unique identifier for emails and cell phones. Don't quite understand that. You know, they never told us about it. So I'm not exactly sure what that's indicating. I just know I don't use my email address anymore. My wife does when she gets in. And this is a brand new feature that's just come online, available on my LCI. So you'll click on your Lions Club and reports. Under available reports, there's the new line, the very bottom, club achievements. And this is what you'll get. This has the current club officers. And yes, I know you have all of that on my LCI. That's not a, we know that, but this is another location where it's at. But this is something you've never had before. Lions who have sponsored members and how many. We've never had that opportunity before to find out how many Lions a member has sponsored. We have one member that has sponsored 24 new Lions in our district. As you go down to the bottom of the page, you have Lions who are highly recognized. And it's going to show you two different ways of where they received an award or some sort of recognition, LCI and LCIF. So let's just take Brady Terrell. He has a membership key, which indicates he has sponsored at least 2 new Lions. He's a 25-year Chevron, 30-year, 35-year. Under LCIF, it will show you who has a Melvin Jones Fellowship or a progressive Melvin Jones Fellowship. That's something I get asked as the LCIF coordinator. I get asked that a lot, especially this time of year. Does so-and-so in our club have a Melvin Jones Fellowship? Well, this is your answer. Not that I don't want to answer it for you. Be more than happy to. But this will show you right here under club achievements. And it shows different kind of pins that you've received for donating to LCIF. And then club recognition. Now we have here, my club received the Club Excellence Award in 2020 from LCI. And then from LCIF, we received an award for having $50 per member average in 2020. We presented a Melvin Jones Fellowship in 2019 and 2021. And then as you go to the lower part of the page, I only showed one of about, I think 10 pages on there, but it's going to list the club activities that you submitted to My Lion. They'll be laid out right on there. So some of these things you've never had access to before. And the only way to find them would be to contact Lions Clubs International headquarters. So this is something new. Here's another page that has hunger on it. Any questions? Any question whatsoever? I think we got you done in about an hour.
Carrie, I have one.
Sure.
I thought I remembered when we switched over, we're only supposed to be reporting service activities, right? Because I think the last time we went to the zone meeting, one of the other Lions said they're still reporting our club meetings. Do we still report those or no?
You can do that.
Okay.
You can also do fundraisers.
Okay.
You can report fundraisers.
I haven't reported any of the meetings this year.
Yeah, you can do that. The one thing to remember is there's no My Lion police. You know, you're not going to get audited. If a number comes up where it's like 17, don't worry about if you put 20 in, you know, like collected glasses or something like that. Just get in the ballpark. Nobody's going to slap your fingers for it. So don't worry about that sort of thing.
Carrie, the other thing is I guess when we make donations to groups, I know when we do our distribution of checks, I put all that in, but I think Phil's like written checks or we, you know, donated bricks or something. Should I be listing all that stuff separate too under donations?
Yes.
Okay, all right,
Yep. Right ahead.
okay.
I noticed on some of your activities, how do you determine the number of people served sometimes?
For mine?
Yeah.
No, I mean, Carrie,
Oh,
Oh,
because I see for like, let's say, road cleanup, you have 1,000. And
go ahead, Patty, answering.
well, I've done for that and most of them, because I've learned from other Lions, we just estimated how many people probably drive by on that road in a car. So that's more of an estimate for us.
yeah,
But for like our carnival, we usually can get an estimate of how many people showed up each night and then if I do eyeglasses, I just count the number of eyeglasses. So that counts as the number of people served.
okay.
Yeah. Like I say,
I know every now and then there's an activity where you just think, well, what do I
Right.
put here for?
I
Right.
do put a maximum on you of 3,000 people.
Yeah, I knew there was a maximum.
Yeah. Yeah. Take a good guess. That's all we can ask. Just take a good guess.
Carrie,
Yes.
okay, I have some unreported activities from like 2 years ago. And so I can click on that and that red X will come up that I can delete them off.
Yes.
That's where that red X is, okay. But I have to hit the report and then that'll come up.
Does that sound right, Patty?
Yes, that's what I do. Yep.
Yeah, because they've
Or-
changed that recently.
Yeah, or sometimes I was going in and just hitting that where you can edit, copy, or delete. There's 3 bars across, and that other one, I hit delete on that.
Okay. I know they said I couldn't do anything for it because the time limit had expired.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else?
Carrie, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just have one question. Once an activity is reported, there's no editing it or anything, correct?
No, you can edit
You
it.
can still go in and edit it, say you have
Yes.
a whoopsie, because I mean, I'm still learning the process of all this, so I'm sure I'm gonna have a few whoopsies here, so.
Well, let me say one thing. If you have a question and something you've been thinking about, you have some excellent secretaries here right now. This is the time to ask, not when mom is on television. Don't wait for the commercial and say, boy, I wish I would have asked. I had all these people here that do the same job I do that probably have the answer for it. So if you have a question, this is it. This is the perfect time to ask it. Sam, you had a question or comment.
Yes, you said that the officers report, the new officers report is due on May 15th.
Right.
How is that report made?
Take it back up there. My Lions Club?
Yep.
Go up to officers. If this sounds wrong to somebody, tell me, because I'm not doing it live. I'm doing it from memory. Click on officers. Hang on a second, Sam. I'm going to see what I can do here for you.
You can,
So this is done online then, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is not, there's no PU 101 anymore or anything like that.
You know, I was just going to bring that up.
Mhm.
People will hear the term PU 101. I don't know why they keep using that. That was a form that you filled out and sent to Chicago. That is long gone. So even though some people still say that, that's not the way it is.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I was secretary quite a few years ago and that was the way it was done then, but
yeah,
I'm, you know,
so let's go to my Lions Club.
Yep.
Officers. Select term next year. See what I'm doing there? From one,
yep,
two,
I see. Yes.
okay. Now, she already has them reported, so that's why they're there.
Mhm.
But if they, and I don't think I can do anybody else. No, I can't do any other club. But that's how you do it, fam. Just
Okay. All right. I can
my
handle
Lions
that.
Club, officers, select term, that sort of thing. Now, if here's the officer type, so you have the officers like president, vice president, and secretary. Sometimes some clubs have a term for an office that is not listed in here. That's when you go to add a local title, say, and then you can like type in there like tail twister or something like that and put it in. But that's entirely up to you.
Okay.
That's entirely up to you. But yeah, PU 101, that's gone.
Go on. Okay.
Long gone.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Easy to answer. Anyone else?
Yeah, Carrie, one quick comment on Laura's question. The only thing I would say there about making changes, I believe those changes would have to be made by June 30th, or after June 30th, you wouldn't be able to change anything for this current Lions year. Is that correct?
You can't change from one year to the next. It's only in the current year. That's correct.
And that gives you the opportunity sometimes, if you fall behind on your duties a little bit, you can always go back the last couple months within the Lions year and still put in activities and kind of catch yourself up.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't encourage that, but you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing, Carrie, and this is just, I'd like to get feedback from the others, in terms of reporting the service projects. I know some of the clubs in my area, they've had, what I'm gonna say, they've been frustrated with reporting the service when they put in an activity ahead of time and then have to go back and fill in this stuff. I've kind of found it easier to just report everything as past activities and not try to put them in, because then it's a one-step process.
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I recorded past District Governor Tom Gregg at the Regional Lions Learning Institute. He went through all this and he gave me permission to record him on my phone. And I listened to that again today for maybe a tip or two that I could pass on to you. His recommendation is put everything in as not past activity, but the future, and then just click report when it's finished. I never did that. I always did it as a past activity, always. I just found it easier that way, kept it up to date easier. And Laura, I mean, maybe this is the bad side of me, but if you forgot something, if your club did something, let's just say today's date is July 2nd, 2021. And you remember, oh my word, back on May 13th, my club did this and I forgot it. I forgot to submit it on my line. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it as July 1st is when I did it. I unethical. You still did it. It's just what year or what time frame did you do it? Nobody's going to smack your fingers. Nobody's going to complain, but you still did it. One question we get asked quite often is, what's the big deal? Why do we need to report these service activities? Why do we need to show how much money we raised, how many people we served. Why is that important? It's very simple. We love to partner with other organizations. And just to use it as an excellent example, I mean, I don't know what they're going to call the foundation, but it used to be the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now that they're getting divorced, I don't know what it's going to be called, but they challenged Lions to raise, excuse me, $30 million for measles, mumps, and rubella, and they would match it. So but the thing was, we couldn't just say, yeah, we did it. Lions did it, Bill. You have my word. You know, we did all this work. No, they need to see proof. That's where the auditors are going to come in. Is how much did your Lions clubs raise? How many people did you serve? And that's where it's important. That's why we need to do this. I know it's something else for secretaries to do. But believe me, when my line came out, and I think most of you that were secretaries back then, just getting on the daggone website was a challenge. You know, just signing on to it was difficult. I did it for the first time on my phone at the convention in Chicago that year in 2017. And I swear for the next 2 years, I had trouble getting on from the very first day. But now it's settled down. It's much better. Excuse me. It's much easier than it had been. So consider the rough patches are over. And now it's easy. I'm not going to say the changes in my LCI when they happen scare me, but if they had trouble with my line, I sure hope they learned. Part of the problem that they had was they didn't, the developers, LCI did not put my line together. They paid outside sources to do that, whatever they call those people, programmers or whatever. We paid them to do that. But the issue was they didn't listen to us. They didn't, not to me, but they didn't listen to LCI. They said, well, Lions clubs, they will report all throughout the month on my line. And LCI said, no, they won't. They're going to wait till the last few days of the month to do reporting. And what happened? It completely crashed the system. But they didn't listen. So hopefully when they redo my LCI, they'll listen to us this time. Or maybe it'll be a different set of people that will be programming it. But that's basically why we need to report, why we need to know what everybody's doing. Any other questions or comments? Come on, now's your time. All right. Are we done in time for you, Brenda? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I thank you all very much. I'm going to see if I can put my information up there again in case you have a question later on. There we go. I'll let that up there for you. So email me, call me, don't care which. I will answer your question or find you the answer.
Thank you, Carrie.
Oh, you're
Thank you, Carrie.
You're very welcome.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Dennis?
sir.
I guess we'll turn it back over to you.
Sure, yep. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming in tonight, and we're gonna stop the recording, and you're good to go. So